Hi guys, welcome on back to Chefs of Anime. I'm Vince.
I'm Taylor.
And here today we're going to be making a wonderful dish from the book Final Fantasy Cookbook. And I'm excited about this because I've heard of a delicious recipe called Ratatouille and I just have to try it. I am not generally a veggie eater, but Taylor loves vegetables.
Yes, I'm much more partial to them.
Yeah. If you like any type of content that deals with cooking and then learning how to do those recipes, from fantasy games to anime to all sorts of awesome creations, make sure you go ahead and press the subscribe button and learn with us on how to do stuff like this. Otherwise, Ratatouille.
It's French in origin.
French. I believe it's like the late 18th century.
Thereabouts, they would have had all the vegetables and all those different origins in there by then.
Yeah, and you know, considering Ratatouille is such a wonderful cuisine, I actually didn't know about it until the movie Ratatouille.
Yes.
I didn't even know the movie actually was about the dish until I saw it. But when we look at Ratatouille from Final Fantasy, it comes from the area of the Black Shroud. If you're familiar of Gridania, lots of that area is very lush, very foresty, very earthy, and so there's going to be all these wonderful colors that come from the Ratatouille dish. We have Gyohan, our resident aquatic creature, going on his merry way on becoming a fantastic chef in Eorzea, and he says, "On my way to Gridania, some nice people on the airship asked why we were traveling and suggested we visit the Botanist Guild." Very correct. Very helpful. The giant pumpkins, fields of fresh veggies, everything was better than I expected. I was so impressed by all of the produce, and I asked if they knew any meals that had highlighted all the great veggies. And the guild leader, a Lalafell named Fufucha. Is that it?
Fufucha.
Wow. Fufucha suggested a fresh ratatouille. There's no way I'm fitting those pumpkins in this dish though, so I had to use smaller vegetables instead. Yes, I cannot wait. Well, I can't wait either.
So I guess we should get started.
Yeah, so without further ado, Taylor,
Let's go.
let's go.
And now for our prep section, this is actually going to be our longest section. This is a very prep heavy meal. So what we have is back here we have 1 eggplant that we're going to end up cubing, 2 zucchini, 2 squash, 2 bell peppers, seeded and cut into chunks, an onion that we're going to cut into chunks, a cup or 150 grams of cherry tomatoes, a half a cup of olive oil or 125 milliliters, plus another reserved 2 tablespoons of olive oil for after the fact, a teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 teaspoons of lavender, 5 garlic cloves that we're going to mince up, 1 teaspoon salt, and a half a teaspoon pepper. We are going to get things set up so that we can get these vegetables cut and ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to start prepping our vegetables, and I will explain what I'm doing to each of them along the way. Here we'll start out with the easiest first, which is our garlic. To that, I'm just going to remove the papers off the outsides, chop off where it was attached to the bulb, and then once everybody is prepped like that, I will get everything minced. Alright, now we're just going to go on to a nice fine mince. And just as traditional with whenever you use fresh garlic, you do want to make sure you cut off that root end, because they can be sometimes very woody and unpalatable. Next we're going to be moving on to the eggplant, which I'm going to cut into cubes. I'll do that. I'm going to take a small side off. Discard that just so I can have it stay nice and put for me.
We would like to thank Walking Dog Music for providing copyright-free and DMCA-free lo-fi, chill-hop, and quiet future bass for content creators and streamers alike. For more information, check the description below for links to their music on all major platforms.
Okay, that, our eggplant's done. Next we have our yellow squash here. I'm going to do the same process with. Now, we'll move on to the zucchini. Same process. Next up on our list of vegetables is our white onion. Now we are on to our bell peppers. Now we need to seed and get as much flesh off of these as we can. I had learned a couple years back a kind of a fun method, or an easier method, to get the most out of the bell pepper without having to dig around and take out a whole bunch of seeds. So I'm going to show you that, guys, now. So I always make sure that I have, see how they have the lines that will occasionally go through? I always make sure that I have almost to where those lines are touching, and then I will go down the side. And that gets me all that flesh and avoids all the seeds. And just makes it a lot easier. Look how much we lost. Almost nothing. Most of it is still right there. We don't have any seeds to wash out. Now, we can finish prepping. Okay, now we move on to our last one. Our red pepper. Same story here. Get almost to the point where those lines intersect. Go down the side. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm gonna go wash this one out real quick. We'll be right back. That concludes our prep. We have all of our beautiful vegetables ready to go.
So after you get done placing all your vegetables into a large bowl, just make sure you have this ready to go on the side. You're gonna be tossing that all into this entire mix right here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your oil, the half cup, thyme, lavender, garlic, salt, and pepper, and you're gonna put them all together in a small bowl. However, if you got lavender from a package, you're gonna wanna make sure that you grind that up, and the best way to do that is with a mortar and pestle. So take your lavender, put it inside here. You just wanna go ahead and just grind it a bit. You don't wanna go too hard on it. You just wanna go ahead and make sure that you press hard enough to break it up. Yeah, checks out. Should be about like that. And now we're gonna go ahead and put everything in here. So that's gonna be your half a cup or 65 grams of oil, your thyme, that lavender that you just ground up. Make sure you get all of it in. Salt, pepper, garlic. And you're gonna go ahead and wanna mix this up first before you eventually toss it into your vegetable mixture. Now, you might have to grab a couple bowls or do this in sections, but by the time we take this and we start tossing it all together, it's gonna be well coated, and then we're gonna spread it all out into a baking sheet. So we'll show you that in a second. So the recipe doesn't exactly tell us how we want to go ahead and mix this. We just found that a really big cooking pot is going to work really well. So we put the vegetables inside. We started mixing it a bit. We'll eventually put the rest of this in. So it's just a lot. It can get a little bit messy just by the sheer volume of all the vegetables we have. I would say layer it in a bit. Put some fresh vegetables in. Put a little bit more of the oil. Get that garlic in there. Mix it around with your hands, get messy, because right now there is no other way that this is going to be coated unless you basically go ahead and use your hands at this point. And we will have one more vegetable we're gonna put in here. It's gonna be our cherry tomato. So what I wanna do is just maybe somewhere between the layers as you start mixing in them, go ahead and mix those cherry tomatoes in there. And it should look something like this. We're gonna spread it on some baking sheets. We'll show you in a second. Oh wait, movie magic. Swish. Once you get your vegetables completely layered out and nicely even, admire the beautiful color. But before you put it in the oven, make sure it is set at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you're gonna roast it for 20 minutes, stir the vegetables on the baking sheet, and then roast for another 20 minutes. Stir the vegetables once more, and then reduce the heat to 350. And then you'll roast it one last time for 20 minutes. You might have a lot of leftover vegetables because this is a pretty big dish. Go ahead and use another baking sheet. Throw as many as you can into your oven. Make sure you toss them all evenly, and then we'll see what this looks like at the very end. So let's put this in the oven.
After an hour of roasting and tossing in our oven, this is what we come out with at the end of the process. So the last step in this is we're going to take that reserved olive oil that we had set aside, and we are going to drizzle it over and kind of toss it and incorporate it, make everything real nice and shiny, and give it that extra little bit of that olive oil flavor. Okay, now we plate up and get ready to eat.
And there you have it, guys. Our ratatouille is plated. This actually looks really good. And I'm not gonna lie, the pop of green on there
Definitely helps.
really, really good. The red, the orange, the yellow, the dark, vibrant purple. It's all really pretty gorgeous, actually.
Yeah. There was a lot of prep. Most of the work you're going to be doing is cutting a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
This is also a little bit different because I've had and made ratatouille before and used other recipes. I've never had it with lavender, so I'm kind of curious about what that did to the recipe as well. Once you've done your hard work and your prep work, which isn't even really that terrible, it's just a lot of cubing stuff, then it's just go sit back, turn on a video, more of us, and wait for it to be done.
There's no other commentary I think that we have about this. Let's just go ahead and dig right in.
Go.
Alrighty. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my, this is really good.
The lavender is very subtle.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more powerful just because of the way that it smelled when we were using it and getting it ready. But no, it's very, very subtle throughout all of it.
I feel like the eggplant and the zucchini really soaked up all those good like salt, pepper, thyme flavors.
Yes.
And
It was very herbaceous.
yeah, it's very herbaceous. What makes sense if it's coming from Gradania. It totally makes sense. They're gonna have the freshest vegetables.
Absolutely.
And the peppers, they're just really nice with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you go after them too.
Yeah, I usually don't like peppers in this kind of way. I usually like them when they're baked down or put down to like a soup of some sort. Having it this way is really, really good. For a vegetable dish that I usually don't enjoy eating, this is really good. I'd give this like an 8.5.
Now for this one, yeah, I'm gonna probably set around that same, probably an 8, 8.5. It's there's a couple things I think you could do a little bit more seasoning with it.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe something else there that's missing that you could maybe find and add in. I'm not sure exactly what that'd be. Maybe a little bit of a pungent rosemary. It's a good dish to also practice your knife work on.
Oh yeah. Guys, well that wraps up another episode of Chefs of Anime. If you liked what you saw here as far as the dish, if you have any other suggestions, go ahead and leave comments in below. If you liked any of our gear, recording or kitchen-wise, you can get that in the description below. Click on any of the links and then, hey, they're yours. Otherwise, if you liked what you saw as far as the cooking content is concerned and you want to learn more about other fantastic fantasy-based cooking dish, go ahead and press the subscribe button below and then tip us with a like.
And if you want to know when our newest videos are coming out, go ahead and make sure to click the bell so you know when we release those.
And once again, I'm Vince.
I'm Taylor.
And we're the Chefs of Anime. I really don't like vegetables at all, and this is pretty good.
I'm glad you enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
actually really awesome. You found something you're into.
Well, once in a while.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Once in a
Not, don't
while.
get, no.
This is not on the weekly rotation.
No.